Some children don't grow up fast because they are strong. They grow up fast because they are scared. Scared of making mistakes, scared of being loud, scared of taking up space, scared of becoming a problem. While other children are learning how to play, they are learning how to read the room. They learn when to stay quiet, when to disappear, when to smile even if something feels wrong. The world later calls this maturity, responsibility, independence. But the body remembers it differently. The body remembers fear. These children don't feel safe enough to be children. They understand very early that comfort is temporary and peace can be taken away at any moment. So they adapt. They become alert, always watching, always listening. They notice small changes in tone, in footsteps, in silence. They learn that silence can be dangerous, that noise can be worse, and that sometimes the safest thing to do is nothing at all. No one tells them they're surviving. Instead, they are praised. You're so mature for your age. You're so responsible. You don't cause problems. And they take those words like rules, like laws they must follow to stay safe. They learn that being easy to handle is the same as being loved, that being invisible is the same as being protected. And slowly, without anyone noticing, fear becomes their teacher. As they grow older, this fear doesn't leave. It changes shape. It becomes anxiety, guilt, a constant feeling that something bad is about to happen even when everything seems calm. Especially when everything seems calm, because calm never lasted before. Calm was always followed by something else, something louder, something worse. So the body stays tense, even years later, even decades later. These children become adults who can't rest, adults who feel uncomfortable doing nothing, adults who apologize for existing. They struggle to ask for help, not because they don't need it, but because needing help once meant danger. It meant disappointment. It meant punishment. So they learn to handle everything alone, even when it hurts, even when they're exhausted, even when they're breaking. They become hyper-independent, not because they want to be, but because dependence once felt unsafe. They don't trust easily, and when they do, they're afraid they've trusted too much. They replay conversations in their head. They analyze every word they said, every look they received, wondering if they were too much or not enough, wondering if they did something wrong, wondering when it will all fall apart. And the world keeps praising them, keeps rewarding them. They're productive, reliable, always there for others, always strong, always calm in a crisis. But no one sees what happens when they're alone. No one sees the nights where sleep doesn't come easily, the moments where their chest feels tight for no clear reason, the sudden waves of fear that appear without warning, the body remembering what the mind tried to forget. Because trauma doesn't always look like chaos. Sometimes it looks like control. Sometimes it looks like silence. Sometimes it looks like a child who never caused trouble, a child who never asked for much, a child who learned that being low maintenance was safer than being loved loudly. These children grow into adults who feel like a burden, even when they're not, who feel guilty for resting, guilty for saying no, guilty for wanting more. They feel like they have to earn their right to exist, like love is conditional, like safety has to be deserved, and deep down they are terrified that one mistake will take everything away. They don't remember a moment when they felt truly safe, only moments when things were quiet enough to breathe. But breathing never meant safety. It only meant waiting, waiting for the next shift in mood, the next argument, the next disappointment, the next thing they would have to fix or survive. And so they keep going, they keep functioning, they keep pretending everything is fine, because pretending once kept them alive. But inside, they are tired, not physically, emotionally, tired of being strong, tired of being alert, tired of carrying weight they were never meant to carry. The scariest part is that many of them don't even know this happened. They just think this is who they are, anxious, guarded, overthinking, exhausted. They don't realize that their nervous system learned these patterns long before they had a choice. long before they understood what fear was, long before they had words for it. They weren't born this way, they were shaped, conditioned, trained by an environment that taught them one simple lesson. Being a child was not safe. So if you've ever felt guilty for resting, if you've ever felt afraid of asking for help, if you've ever felt like you had to be strong all the time, it wasn't because you were mature. It wasn't because you were independent. It wasn't because you were special. When children are forced to grow up too early, something inside them never fully grows at all. It freezes, it hides, it learns to wait, and that part stays there quietly watching long after the body becomes an adult, long after the danger is gone, or at least long after it's supposed to be gone, because fear doesn't leave when the threat disappears. Fear leaves when the body learns that it is finally safe. And for many people, that moment never comes. They move forward in life carrying an invisible rulebook written by survival. Don't trust comfort. Don't relax too much. Don't get used to peace. Don't believe that good things will last. Because once, long ago, things changed without warning, and the body learned that stability is temporary, that safety is fragile, that calm is suspicious. So even in quiet rooms, the nervous system stays awake. Even in loving relationships, the heart stays guarded. Even in moments of happiness, there is a shadow whispering, "Enjoy this carefully," because the mind remembers joy, but the body remembers pain. These adults often struggle to name what they feel. They know something is wrong, but they don't know what. They feel disconnected from their emotions, as if they are watching life through glass. They can explain their thoughts clearly, logically, calmly. But when it comes to feelings, there is a distance, a numbness. As if emotions were once too dangerous to feel fully, and in a way, they were. As children, feeling too much meant risk. It meant punishment, rejection, ridicule, or being ignored. So the mind learned to shut emotions down, to compartmentalize, to survive. And that survival skill became a prison. These adults often feel older than their age, tired in a way sleep doesn't fix, exhausted in a way rest doesn't cure, because the exhaustion isn't physical, it's the weight of constant vigilance, of carrying responsibility that was never meant to belong to them. They were children who became emotional caretakers, who learned to manage adults' moods, who felt responsible for keeping the peace, who believed that if something went wrong, it was their fault, and that belief followed them into adulthood like a curse. They blame themselves for things they can't control. They feel guilty for other people's emotions. They apologize too much. They explain themselves too often. They fear conflict, not because they dislike disagreement, but because conflict once meant danger. It meant chaos. It meant losing what little safety they had, so they avoid it. They suppress their needs. They choose silence over honesty. And every unspoken word becomes another weight added to their chest. They are often drawn to relationships that feel familiar, not healthy. Familiar tension, familiar unpredictability, familiar emotional distance, because the nervous system confuses familiarity with safety, and calm can feel uncomfortable when you were raised in chaos. When things are peaceful, they wait for something to go wrong. When someone treats them well, they question the intention. When love feels stable, it feels unreal, temporary, like something that could disappear at any moment. And sometimes, without realizing it, they sabotage that peace. Not because they want pain, but because pain makes sense. Pain feels known, predictable. Pain feels like home. The scariest part is that from the outside, they look fine, successful, functional, put together. They show up, they perform, they deliver. They are admired for their strength. But strength is not the same as healing, and survival is not the same as living. Inside, there is a constant tension, a readiness, as if they are always preparing for impact, as if danger is just around the corner, even when the room is quiet, even when nothing is happening, even when life is good, because their body never learned how to stand down. They don't know how to rest without guilt. They don't know how to receive help without fear. They don't know how to be vulnerable without expecting consequences. Vulnerability once cost too much, so they become self-sufficient to the point of isolation, independent to the point of loneliness, strong to the point of breaking. And when they finally slow down, when the distractions fade, when the noise quiets, that's when the memories surface, not as clear images, but as sensations, tightness in the chest, a sudden wave of dread, a sense of being watched, a feeling that something bad is coming. That's the past knocking, not asking to be remembered, demanding to be felt, because trauma doesn't disappear when ignored. It waits, patiently, for silence, for stillness, for the moment when the mind can no longer outrun it. And when it surfaces, it doesn't come with explanations. It comes with fear, with confusion, with shame, with a deep aching sense that something inside was broken a long time ago. But here is the truth that many never hear. Nothing was broken. That child did exactly what they needed to do to survive. They adapted, they learned, they endured, and those survival strategies worked. They kept the child alive. The problem is that survival strategies don't disappear on their own. They stay active long after the danger is gone. They protect against threats that no longer exist. And in doing so, they prevent connection, rest, safety, peace. Healing begins when the body learns what the mind already knows, that the threat has passed, that the war is over, that vigilance is no longer required, but teaching the body that truth takes time, patience, compassion. It requires unlearning fear, slowly, carefully, gently, and that process is terrifying because letting go of survival feels like letting go of control. And control once meant safety, so if you feel stuck between exhaustion and fear, if you feel like you're surviving a life that no longer requires survival, if you feel like rest makes you anxious and peace makes you uncomfortable, it's not because you're weak, it's because your body learned to survive before it learned how to live. And maybe the hardest part of healing is accepting that you don't have to be afraid anymore. But your body hasn't realized that yet.